Hi everybody. Today we're going to work on a block and a strike, and then we're going to combine them together to make a technique. So the block that we're going to do is called the palm block. It's very similar to the inner block that Paul worked on several months ago in a video of his. He did his block, if you remember, this was the block he did. So if you've been practicing that block, you're in luck because this block is a cousin to that one. So for a palm block, we're going to use an open hand. And I just want to go across my body, and I'm going to use the heel part of my hand to execute my block. Okay, so I want to add a little waist turn into it, and I only want to block the width of my body. I don't want to waste energy by blocking way out here, and if I do that, my opponent's also got a clear target to my ribs. So when I block, again, if you're doing this, if you're practicing it in a mirror, that's really good because then you'll be able to see exactly when you should be stopping that block and not going too far. Why don't we practice a few palm blocks together? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now again, you can practice them slow, fast. You can practice from this practice elbow position that I was doing it from, or you could practice from a guard position and just go right from here. This block too, we're kind of doing our palm block straight across. This block can also be done in a downward motion, so I could palm block across my body and down. Say somebody was trying to punch me in the lower abdomen instead of up high, I could practice it down here. And then I could also practice it up high, okay? If somebody tries to do a downward hammer strike to my head or come down with a club, I could also go this way, okay? Why don't we try a few downward ones and upward ones, okay? So down block, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do upward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Notice I was looking up at what I'm blocking. Right now we'll go over the chicken wrist. So chicken wrist is a funny sounding strike. And I don't know that chickens have wrists, but when they walk, I know they kind of pick their feet up like this. So that's what I kind of associate it with. So this is called an obscured strike. So it means that when you throw it at an opponent, a lot of times they cannot see it to the last moment. So we'll do one coming from down low. Okay, so I'm going to set my hand down here for practice, and when I come up, my elbow's not going to move that much. I'm more going to snap my wrist. So I come up and I snap the wrist, and it's actually the bones of my wrist that do the strike. Okay, it's a little bit tricky, a little bit funky, but it's really effective, and it actually hurts your opponent a lot. Okay, so I come down, 1, do them with me, 2, down, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just like our block, those strikes can be done to different angles. So I could go across myself this way and throw the strike out like this. I could come up my body and actually throw it downward to the bridge of somebody's nose. I like it sideways into the jawline here. That's very effective. I have actually been hit in the ear with one of these, and it really hurts. So the more snap I can put into that, the more effective, the more that strike's going to hurt my opponent. This is one you might have to practice more because it's kind of tricky, but like I said, it's a good strike. And actually, I'll have Sadie come in, my daughter, to help me out, and I'll show you why it's obscured. So obscured means hidden. So if she comes up and she's close to me, I put my hand down here. She's looking at me. She can't see my hand. Boom. Before I know it, the strike has happened and she doesn't even see it. So now we're going to combine those two things. We're going to combine the palm block and the chicken wrist into a technique. So I'll do it facing you, and then Sadie and I will do it together. Okay, so I'm going to palm block across my body, And then I'm going to throw the chicken wrist towards Sadie. Okay, and I could hit her in the nose, I could hit her in the jaw if I want. If she happens to turn her head, I could hit her in the jawline, okay? So we're going to do palm, chicken. Let's try a few of those and then we'll do it with Sadie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You notice I alternated hands. I'm trying to practice with both hands, although in real life, I'll probably use my dominant hand if I got in an emergency situation. Okay, so Sadie, we're going to work together. We'll give each other a little bow. Okay, and now she's going to step in and punch for me. Now in real life, I'm not going to stand here. I'm going to move out of the way. So I'm going to move a little bit. If I were in a chair, I'd want to rotate my shoulders to the side. You're not going to stay square to them, looking at them, taking on their full power. So we'll do it a little bit slow. She's going to step in and punch. I do that palm block to stop her, and then I throw my chicken wrist up towards her chin. Now this, if she'll stay there for just a minute frozen, this is called an inside technique. So I am on the inside part of her body. My targets are her face, her solar plexus, her groin. So think of this as, I would be, if she went to hug me, go ahead, Sadie, hug me, that I'm inside her hug, okay? Think of it that way, I'm inside her hug. Now, I'm gonna have her punch with the other hand, just so that you guys with the camera can pick it up better. So I'm gonna palm and chicken. Now this time, her jawline might be hidden by her shoulder. I might go for the nose this time. Okay, so same moves, but now I'm on the outside of her body. Okay, I have her lower ribs, her jawline, I have her kidney, maybe her spleen if I'm on the correct side of the body, the liver maybe to try to strike. So this, if she hugs right now, I'm out. No, if you hug right there, she's so silly. If you hug right there, I'm outside your hug, aren't I? See? Oh, no, she moved to get inside the hug. Okay, so you can think of it inside the technique, I would be in her hug, or outside it, I would be outside of her hug. Okay, so now we'll let Sadie do it too, because she wants to practice. So she's going to step forward, palm block, and then she throws the chicken wrist at an open target. So she did that as an inside technique. Okay, I'll punch with the same hand because they can pick up the camera with you. You can go to the outside. Okay, so she steps forward, she palm blocks, and then chicken wrist. I'm shorter than she is, so she actually has my jaw pretty open. Okay, so that's the outside technique. Okay, so pretty simple technique once you know those moves. Just make sure you're either rotating out of the way of your opponent or taking a little step forward, or if they were really rushing you and they're a big person, you could step back as well. Now we'll just do another little technique so you can see the same motion can be used in multiple ways. So this time I'll have Sadie grab across her body and grab me. Okay, so now she's got my wrist. I'm going to do the same motion, but remember how we did the palm block a little bit downward? I'm going to go a little down to take her balance. So I'm going to come up. I'm actually going to take a step back to help take her balance. I'm going to push. See, do that palm block down, and then I snap the chicken up. Let me do it again. I'm going to form my chicken better this time. Okay, palm down, chicken. Okay. Now we'll let Sadie do it. All right. Okay, so if I'm really coming in on her, she can take a step back to take my balance on this side. Palm. There's the chicken wrist again. So it's an effective little, my cat's up to no good over on the side there. So it's an effective little technique with just two motions. And maybe if you think, you can work off of other things, maybe somebody grabbing you or choking you, and see a way that you think you can use that palm block and that chicken wrist to do another technique. Keep practicing, and we'll see you guys at the next live Zoom session. Bye-bye.